Hey, what's up, Brad? What are you laughing about?
I don't know. It's been a little bit since we've done this, I feel like.
2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. A
It's
little
been
bit.
2 weeks? A little bit.
Yeah.
What did we do last?
Last time we did Fizzy Band.
Ooh, that was a good one. It's going to be a hard one to follow up, to be honest. Not going.
Well,
What do you mean by that?
before we get into it, though, how was your week, Braxton? How you been?
I've been living a stressful life.
Oh,
Yeah, just everything has been a lot, and
Sorry.
work has been busy. But
sorry to ask.
no, it's okay. I've been doing some like streaming stuff
Okay.
secretly on the side. It's been pretty enjoyable. Outside of that, my parents were here.
Yeah, I brought you a big TV.
They did, actually. It's a TV that got busted during the Great Snowpocalypse in the southern states.
Jesus.
But they came by. We went to a sushi place, which was pretty damn great. And then later on this week, our good friend
Yeah,
Kent said, hey,
speaking of the sushi place,
go do it again. But you know what's slightly embarrassing about that sushi place? I sent you pictures.
You did.
I did send you pictures.
So yeah.
And you didn't want any. But my
until
father,
we
bless
went,
his soul, entirely forgot that when you order sushi in not the location he's from, because I'm not going to dox myself again, and then
Good job, you
not where he's
learned.
from, you usually get in his place,
Uh-huh.
one little check mark gets you, like 1 or 2 sushi, right?
See, I've never ordered sushi like that. That was also new to
It's
me.
pretty straight. Like that's what most people do. That's what most sushi restaurants
I don't
do.
go to many sushi places.
So to educate you further, most of the time, you put a little tick mark and you get like 1 or 2 sashimi, like little rice nigiri boys with fish on top. You get 1 or 2 of those.
Sure.
At this place, you get 4, and not only do you get 4, but I'm not kidding. My tiny hands—that's about the size of the cut of the fish they
Their
put on the
portions
rice.
are pretty big.
They are massive.
The gyoza was
Gyoza's absolutely fucking delicious.
The sauce with it too.
Yes.
My God.
But what I will say.
Yeah. The miso.
Yes, we ordered far too much food. Like, I'm not kidding. It was to the point that the owners were coming out and like, hey, we gotta give these guys the best possible service they could have ever, because they're buying the entire restaurant.
Wait, the owners came to talk to you guys?
Well, it's the owner's this super friendly older woman who always
That's
comes out
funny.
and greets people. But she was coming out and saying, "Oh, thank you." Like the waitress that was with us, we asked her afterward. We essentially said, "Hey, did you know how ridiculous this was going to be?" She goes, "Yeah, but I didn't want to ask a question." I was like, "That's what you're supposed to do. Save us. We can't possibly eat all
That's what
this."
you're here for, yeah.
That's true. But they got a lot of money from us, and I took all the sushi home, sent a picture to Ryan, and he failed to support me in my time of need.
Well, until we went to get to the exact same sushi place, and I found out it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it is very good. Wait, is that why you didn't?
No, I just wasn't in a sushi mood at the time.
You got to be in the sushi mood.
Now,
all the time.
I think sushi's great. It's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm a gyoza guy through and through. I'll eat gyoza any time of the day.
You can have both.
Yeah, but you didn't have any gyoza in that picture.
We ate it.
Exactly. So that's why I
It's
didn't
good.
want
If I
it.
get some gyoza from that place, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah, I ate it fast.
It's
Did you eat
delicious.
the leftovers you had?
I did. It's
Nice.
actually different gyoza. Sometimes, most of the time, it's
Yeah, it was a
steamed.
little different. Yeah,
This was fried, so it's worse for you, but tastes better.
that's fine. Usually if it's worse for me, it tastes better in my tummy.
But you know what else is?
Well, thanks for asking about my week, Braxton. I came prepared to talk about stuff with my day, and but today, as you know, I'm a counselor in training. Was my termination session for my first
Sorry,
client.
that sounds.
I know it sounds really intense. Termination, it just means you're
Did
the
you get fired?
end. No, it's just the end of your relationship.
Oh,
together.
holy shit!
Yeah, I even said to my client, I was like, termination is a very intense word for what's going to happen
Yeah.
today, but it's literally just, to me, it's much more a hopeful thing. You've learned, you've grown all this much. Let's talk about that and send you on your way.
Okay. Yeah, how'd it go?
I was sad, man. And
Did they cry?
No, they didn't cry. My supervisor cried, though, because it was my last time with her as well.
Aw.
And so it was a big deal, though I found out she's going to be teaching my class next semester, too. So,
No reason.
so yeah, it wasn't really that sad. But it was really, really cool. A big step forward.
She's a teacher, right?
She's a teacher and a counselor.
Is she newer?
My supervisor? No, I'll cut that out.
Will you?
Yeah, I'll remember. Where I go to school, no, she's new, I believe, but she's been a counselor for a long time.
Just curious, because I feel it's a little bit more impactful if it's a teacher that's been here for like ages. You get Severus Snape to cry for you,
Right.
That kind of thing. So that's what I was thinking.
She's really great though. I
Cool.
like her.
Okay, well that's fun. That's
Yeah,
why
a big step.
we've moved these to Thursdays, and he's always better dressed on Thursdays. And I am clad in my athletic cat hair covered shirt. No matter how much I try to tape roll it off, it is.
Oh, it's impossible.
It is impossible. It's always stuck like that.
Especially you guys. You have a white cat. I have a white cat. I know the struggles.
I have 2 cats, man. So no matter what clothes I wear, always these dudes. You don't even know what I'm talking about.
He's pointing at something on his laptop.
We've taken an adventure. We talked about fizz bands last week. Also,
2 weeks ago.
He's Ryan.
No, he's Braxton.
This is the Dungeon Crawl.
I see you guys. I see you crawlers out there.
This is the Dungeon Crawl. All you crawlers out there. You know what we did last week. So this time we wanted to take an adventure with some non-official content.
Yeah, well, it's official, but also not official at the same time, because this is... What's the word? Sanctioned by WotC.
What do you mean, though?
Okay, so glad you asked, Braxton. So this is found on DM's Guild as well as on DriveThruRPG.
Okay.
Let's start with the origin story, I guess.
Yeah.
So this is supporting Extra Life. Do you know what Extra Life is?
No.
It's a charity order. You've probably seen lots of streamers that stream for Extra Life.
I have, actually.
Yeah, it's a charity organization that I believe the money goes to like children's hospitals and stuff like that. So it's sanctioned by WotC for that purpose. Now, WotC did not write it. The team called Arcanum Worlds, they were behind Arcanum Worlds, I guess I should say, worked on it. And who is Arcanum Worlds, you might ask?
Not a clue, other than they have a warlock keyword in their name, and it makes me interested.
Right, but now you're asking me who they are. They are made primarily of former employees of BioWare.
Wait, what?
The video game company BioWare.
Is there a reason why video game people went to tabletop RPGs?
Yes, because many of the people who created this company that worked in BioWare created and worked on the Baldur's Gate games, the original Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
Okay.
Which was a BioWare product.
Okay.
And the guy that specifically who was helming this, where's his name? James Ohlen, who you'll see at the front of the Minsc and Boo book. He's the guy that was a main writer on Baldur's Gate. And they made this group called Arcanum Worlds. And they've created a few D&D products in their time, such as Heroes of Baldur's Gate. It's a levels 1 through 6, 5e little like adventure story thing. And then they've created also a setting/adventure called Odyssey of the Dragon Lords.
Okay.
Both are really, the adventure is okay, I will say. But the setting stuff that they have in there is very well done. Obviously, it's centered around Baldur's Gate, and this book, similarly so, is centered around Baldur's Gate. But that's the order. And then D&D, WotC, right? They hired on James Ohlen to help be a creative director and write stuff for one of their new divisions, but he still kind of works in between both places. So he created this with the Arcanum group, and D&D WotC was like, hey, let's not sell it because it's not official. We don't write it ourselves, but hey, we'll release it on our platform and get you guys some publicity, but also raise money for charity.
Okay. Seems like
that's where we are today.
Okay, so that's what you mean by pseudo-official.
Yeah, so they've putting it out there is definitely D&D is...
They're basically just the publisher, but not really, because there's probably an actual publisher here.
Yes, there is. The actual publisher is called Modafist or something.
Modafistes. I'm sorry. That's been never mind. You know.
Or that was their original stuff. I don't know. It's a little confusing. Morpheus?
No, okay, good. He doesn't know. You know, though.
So it's a whole convoluted way to say that this was created by the Baldur's Gate people from BioWare.
Do you know if any of them have hands in, and they probably don't because it's Larian Studios, the new Baldur's Gate thing?
I don't believe they do.
Even
but
from a help perspective?
I don't know. That I don't know.
Okay.
But I do know that many of the characters that we will focus on and talk about today, especially Minsc and Boo, the titular characters, are rumored to be in the Baldur's Gate 3 game. Not yet, currently, obviously, but Larian Studios have said that they are out there alive and well somewhere.
I mean, it'd be a shame if they died. They're kind of some of the strongest people out there. Well,
they could die at some point.
I mean, they could die. I mean, I feel like if you're going to fight Minsc, you kind of target the hamster.
Yeah.
and then you're fine.
But a lot of the stuff, a lot of stuff that we will find in this book, there's a lot of butts. A lot of stuff that you will find in this book, the Minsc and Boo Journal of Villainy, is if you are a fan of those older Baldur's Gate titles from 2000 or late 1990s, something like that, then this will be a big love letter kind of to you. A lot of the characters, a lot of places in here are big places in the Baldur's Gate series. So this is kind of seeing them in the future. And I will say, those you might be worried that the Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, if this has any like crossover, if this is like reused content, it's not. I would even say the Baldur's Gate in here is better than the Baldur's Gate that they put out in Descent into Avernus.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
So a city that's not the main feature of an entire book is better in this one.
I think it gives the DM more content to pull from.
That's the theme with this thing.
It is.
That's the theme with this thing. So this is kind of one of our views, is literally one of our views, I guess. Do you want to do the thing we usually do? Just kind of quick summary for people that don't want spoilers?
Yeah. I mean,
Weird for this
I
one.
will say if you're a player listening to this, I would say probably don't listen. There's no player content in here.
Yeah, this is basically a DM's only book.
Yeah. But if you don't plan on ever being in a Baldur's Gate campaign, but you like some of the Baldur's Gate stuff, you know, your DM out there makes a homebrewed world, maybe you can read this and get ideas for your character. Maybe like, hey, DM, I really like this. Can we make my character tied to something similar or something? Then, hey, keep listening.
Yeah. I will say, this did give me a lot of character inspiration.
Oh, perfect. Have we even talked about that yet on the podcast?
We haven't. No, but I've mentioned it in the ether of our Discord server.
I know,
once.
but do we want to
Yeah, sure. Right
now or later?
You can mention it now. Now. Hey, if you don't know, in the past, we've done the Dungeon Chronicles, which was a campaign that I DM'd for a while.
Yes. Like 20-something episodes.
Yeah, DMing is hard.
It is.
It's very hard. I have a crazy brain and a lot of other things that are going on right now, and I just could not commit to doing it as much as I wanted to, preparing as much as I could. And it was a constant like thing of stress. What sucks is reading this made me be like, holy fuck, this is some of the best formatting of shit for everything I've ever seen
if
in my
was
entire
like this,
time.
It'd be a lot easier.
I was like, I could structure everything I read like this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Pause. Ryan now, who's DM'd for me in our home games for like 6 years.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Jumping his ethos, his credibility right now.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
He's currently setting, he gave us 3 ideas like I did for the others.
I think it's a great way to poll the room, get people's ideas on what they're interested in. At the
different themes, locations, and it's in his homeworld that he's been writing in for ages.
Made it easier.
A few thousand years difference in timeline and a different location geography-wise.
Yes.
Which I'm super stoked about. But he's going to be doing this probably in like a month or two.
Yeah, we'll probably be launching in like maybe early 2022. That'll be exciting. We'll be streaming it again. We'll be streaming it on our YouTube. I think it's going to be finally out because we were planning on starting to do it before, but then we got sidetracked. Yeah. So we're going to probably do YouTube and Twitch. So if you want to subscribe or follow our Twitch as well, then you can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Links are all down below. But yeah, we should be launching it soon. Should be exciting. And he got some ideas for his character. That's exciting.
Well, just ideas for things in general, not specifically for my character. Okay, well, this whole Minsc and Boo thing is just great inspiration. If you are a player and you don't mind being spoiled, the characters and NPCs here are just freaking phenomenal.
Which is a great applause for the work that BioWare and James Ohlen and them all put into their OG Baldur's Gate games.
BioWare characters have been pretty good in the past. Mass Effect. Well, the early ones.
In the past, yeah.
In the past. The past is in the past. So,
with that said, I guess we'll dive.
Do we recommend it?
You want to start with the recommendation? Yeah. Let's start there. So it's $15 on the. Let me double check that.
Yeah. Is it worth the price?
I mean, say anything with 150 pages that you're at least mildly interested into, that's between $10 and $15, I would definitely say yes.
Isn't it crazy how many man hours people can put into shit like this, and then it's only $15?
Not even. I mean, even just the art. Like there's
the ratings. So that's only 56 of them, but still.
There's only like very few pictures in here that are reused from their other book. But like 95% of it
I don't care
or
what
more.
They've reused.
Yeah, most of it is all new art, which is insane. Yeah, so it's $14.95, and all proceeds go straight to the Extra Life, go straight to the charity. If you want, they do have a book, which our good friend Kenneth got the book. I don't know if he got the soft cover or the hardcover. Regardless, he got the book. And it's the crazy thing is, if you want the PDF and the book, it's the exact same price as if you just bought the book, which is very nice.
Don't know how they do that, because printing physical things is difficult.
Well, I mean, in the fact that if you were to buy the book separately, it's $34. But if you buy the book and the PDF, they make it the same price.
Okay.
Which is nice of them to do that.
So, with that context of how much it costs and my perspective as traditionally a fairly lazy DM, this has organized my brain in ways for like making cities, locations, and livable towns and characters and monsters that are powerful of all CR.
Oh my God, yeah.
It gave me so much inspiration and a desire to, it came at such a bittersweet time, and it's a good decision that Ryan's taking over. But yes, if you're a DM, this should be almost synonymous. If you're buying, if you're getting into 5e, buy this. Hands down.
True. I would agree. I think this is, as you can see by our title, we haven't really decided on it, but I know it's going to be something along the lines of like the best D&D product or something. It's to me, it's one of the best WotC sanctioned books that they've ever released. It's what I want. What I wanted the Ravenloft book to be is what I want any source material, like a setting material book from them to be. It reminds me more so what I love about the Critical Role book, the Tal'Dorei one. I haven't really delved into all the stuff in the Wild Map, but it's very similar. Just how they set things up. They have like locations and they have like plot hooks tied into those locations, and it's very well done. I wish more things did stuff similarly. It has a third-party feel to this book, which, I mean, makes sense. It kind of is a third-party book. And it's kind of sad to say that I like it more because it has a third-party feel to it. But I don't know. I hope WotC will take a page out of this book. At the very least.
When did it come out?
Not long ago, like a month max.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
I thought it had been out for a while. I was like, you're out of luck, man. If they were taking advice from it, they would have done it already.
July.
Okay, that's not too long ago.
No, it was added October 5th. I'm sorry. They last updated it in July, so it means they had it uploaded before it was ready to go out.
Okay.
So it came out in October. Yeah, so not like 2 months ago. I think what I'm going to do with this knowledge is keep an eye on James Ohlen and the rest of the people at what's it called, the Arcanum Worlds.
Yeah.
Because I want to see what else they do. Like I said, I didn't really love Heroes of Baldur's Gate, but I loved the source material stuff, the setting. So I haven't looked at Odyssey of the Dragon Lords at all. Now I really want to see if that's more of a setting based book. Then that's what I want to see more.
Yeah. I don't know. We should just get straight into it.
Yeah, let's dive.
Yeah, those are our general recommendations. So we're getting into the details there if you don't want any spoilers for yourself as a DM or as a player, because I like soft recommend this for a player.
Oh yeah, I
very soft, certain chapters. It's structured pretty well, and it's got some nice flavor. Minsc and Boo are bringing this treasure trove of information that they've gone around adventuring, finding all these villains that they've researched and even worked directly with to write sections of these cities and whatnot. There's some humor written out through there.
Yeah, they take it to Volo.
Yeah, I love Volo's quips.
Volo's Guide to Monsters
He's
fame.
Basically like, this dude's fucking crazy. I don't know how you talk to these people, but he did do that. And I think just the preface is fun. We don't need to touch on it too much. It's a little essay by Minsc and Boo, how they're doing this, why they're doing this. And it gets into the introduction, heroic stories, and it starts immediately. Yeah,
this basically just breaks down what you're about to get into.
Yeah.
Which I like. That I wish more books had a little bit of like, all right, this is, of course, there's a table of contents, but just look at the table of contents. I see group patrons in chapter 2. I don't really know exactly what that entails until you go 2 pages later or 3 pages later, and they say group patrons give characters a reason to work together.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So just gives you a little bit of a breakdown of what each chapter is going to be.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. Gives me a better overview of where I want to start my exploration.
It's like all those times I was in school, in high school, and they're like, please, in your beginning sentence, intro paragraph, talk about each of the things that you're going to talk about.
Yes.
This does exactly that, and it was so jarring for me. Because I was like, okay, here are these things, and they won't touch on them again. That's all they were going to leave. And then it's like, nope. Here is a shitload of info about all these things we've mentioned. I did say I was a little bit whiplashed by the intro. It literally just, here is our sage advice immediately. I will send this into your brain. I'm like, wasn't expecting content to be this like jam-packed in here. But yeah, the little intro is pretty great, and it outlines everything. And then it gets into hometowns and bazaars, Vinces, and blah, blah, blah. But group patrons, I guess, is where we begin.
No, we start at hometowns.
Do you want to?
You want to skip the towns?
I don't know. I think this was the most information that I had already known. Oh, you're going to that page.
Oh, you're talking about like here.
Here. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's basically a thesaurus, essentially.
Yeah, it's just breaking down what you're about to get into, which we're about to get into. And then there's
I do think it's important to talk about that.
Okay, sure.
So there is a large table. And usually when I see tables, I kind of conk out, not going to lie. Because, it's just like a hodgepodge of things that you can use if you want to. And it's like, oh, that's great. I wonder where this book is going to be. Is it just going to be a bunch of chapters with a bunch of tables? Fully expected that because I stopped reading this sometime last week because I got super busy, which is why we had to delay this. Mm-hmm. Reading this, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I love how it's organized with the name of a thing, hometown.
If the last couple pages broke it down, this breaks it down even further to really let you understand what you're about to get into.
Yeah, and if you don't know what you're expecting, you get the themes of everything. This is like what Ryan kind of did for us. Hey, you guys are going to be people in the Adventurers Guild. Your contacts are going to be people named Doc Watson, Flimp. It's going to be kind of lighthearted. Here's an overview. Really great structuring. Help you, your DM brain. This might be how you organize towns and shit all over the place. But I was not expecting each one of the hometowns, group patrons, campaign villains to be massive entries all throughout this thing. This is the whole book. This little table here.
Without the
monsters.
The monsters, the henchmen, yeah.
But what a damn great way to organize and start this.
I know.
And it makes you so familiar with what's coming up. It's no longer an exhausting read. You know exactly what you're getting into.
Mm-hmm. And there's some pretty big names if you start looking through this thing.
Massive names. So you're like, wait a minute. Okay, so we've got Beelzebub, Mephistopheles, one of my new favorites. Pazuzu, one of my new favorites.
I love Pazuzu.
I do love Pazuzu. He's a little weak, but, he's Pazuzu. Anyways, hometowns.
The hometowns. I love this section.
I could not believe the way they organize this. I will be fair and say there's like an ass load of information in these cities. It would take me some time to come up with it, but the thing that stood out the most was the template that they had for everything. Yeah. The map is all. I also appreciate a good map. The maps are fucking amazing.
But I love things like this because I consume. So what I do for my own homebrew world, I consume setting books like this and like history books. And I kind of meld them all together to create my hodgepodge of a world. And so I'll read something like this, go, oh, I love that idea. That's really cool. Or I'll take this. I love that. I love these small little things. I love this culture. Or I'll base a whole town on like a setting book that I read. And I love how this is laid out. It gets right. This is actually how I lay out my books, or not my books, my own setting.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, I'll have the city name, of course, then the population, break down the demographics. So if like a player asks, like, I stop random citizen B, and I have to describe what they look like, I can just kind of easily describe.
You could roll a D100.
Yeah, I could either roll D100, just quickly think off the top of my head, what type of people are in the city, and if there's 8% halflings, maybe just one person they stop. There's a small little halfling dude walking by.
Yeah.
And then you got the government that's in here, the commerce, the defense, how everything fits in. The religions, I love it. I really love how this thing is done.
The theme of like Matryoshka dolls, but like reverse continues too, because this little excerpt right here with population, government, defense, commerce, organization, religions, literally just gets expanded on pretty much every single point within those lists in each section for each town that they have. And it's a really great way to organize information. It seems probably like an obvious thing to do, but something just clicked when I was reading this, and it didn't feel like a slog reading through any of it.
Okay.
Which is very strange. I feel like, I'm sorry, Watsy, but whenever you mention hometowns or locations and villages, it's like each single one has a different structure.
Yes.
To its information dump, and it's like
also just the writing, I think, is a step above. I love you, Chris Perkins, but I think it's a step above because it's written by people who write video games and like things like the BioWare and Baldur's Gate has some incredible writing in it. So I think this shows, and the towns that are in here are all heavily skewed around like the Baldur's Gate area, the stuff in Baldur's Gate. So it makes sense. But I like it better than like the descriptions and things that I read in what's it called? The Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. That was like one of the first 5th edition books that WotC released. It covers similar areas of the Sword Coast and stuff like that. But I like this layout and this. It feels more lived in. With these descriptions.
Well, each city has kind of a at least unique portion to it, like the ore, bronze, copper, steel thing of like not necessarily the caste system, but it's basically a caste system, you know?
Yes, yeah.
And each city has its own like unique either system or quirk there, and then it gets into the history, and the maps are all amazing to varying degrees of detail, just because, you know, one's like the Underdark and they didn't get too in depth because it's just like in the roots of the city.
Shadowfell.
Yeah, there's some stuff in there that I was like, oh damn, if he had read this like before, you definitely would have gotten some influence there. But they go into several different ways for you to have this at your side, like a toolbox. I mean, you've got notable locations in Athkatla, which is the first city here, and it's just like 1 through 30 of places and a small quip. And if you want to be quote unquote a lazy DM, you go with, okay, Temple of the Helm, a temple that also houses the Order of the Gauntlet. Maybe you have to do a couple of reading on like who the Order of the Gauntlet is. You could stop right there and then make everything else your own. Or you could continue to read on all the laws and all the locations and things that they've got later in the description here. It's presented not for lazy DM or crazy prepared DM. There's room for both, which got me really excited.
It even has like a material, like what each store would be selling, which is always tables. Painful for me to figure out what the blacksmith is selling or what the magic store is selling.
And it's really great too. Particularly, I noted down for encounters, there's encounter tables. For shops, there's item and magic tables and shop tables as well.
Especially because WotC has never officially said how much magic items are. Granted, it definitely depends on your world.
Yeah.
But this is... Like I always use stained magic items. I know a lot of other people use it as well to help figure out at least a price point to like think about. So this is nice that they actually give you prices for how much a wand of binding will be or a bag of holding.
That's a very essential item for any group.
Yes.
Oh my God, the art.
The art's very good.
It's so amazing. So while I was reading this, I was thinking, how are you and I going to talk about this? Are we going to go into each city? And I don't necessarily think we need to, because the main point of this is how digestible it is and what the template for this is. And the biggest thing, DMs, I would say, is either if you don't take these cities, take the template. I wrote it out. It's like you've got big point, name, scoot it over, tab it over, population, government, defense, commerce, organization, religions. And then you go back into it. You got description, culture, history, pictures, tab over, map with notable locations.
Yes.
And you've got your laws, expansion on key organizations. And then you've got your tables at the very end of it. Encounters, shops, items, just the flow of it is importance of ordering, like how everything shows up. And it's just a great way for you to organize your cities, should you like to, and should it work for you. I just, my God.
I will say, the only thing that stuck out to me is weird in this whole thing. And granted, I haven't completely consumed the Baldur's Gate games in a long time, so maybe this is in there. But the city that's in the Underdark, Ustnatha, has a shop called the Aboleth Bowl, and there are aboleths there that are selling items. Aboleths don't particularly speak to me as a creature that would be owning a shop and would also be agreed upon that this is an okay thing for our city to have an aboleth, a couple aboleth. There's what is it? We have 1d4 aboleth are here. It seems really weird. I think it's cool that they deal in like fear or something. They have to like scare the customer first or something. It's a cool concept, but I just don't understand. I can't picture an aboleth just chilling inside a city.
I'm sure you could come up with a reason, but generally aboleth are like, hello,
they're the Eldritch God
you
monster.
Sir are a fish now. Sorry, get in the water or else you die.
Damn. Yeah,
aboleths are fucking
it's a little
crazy.
weird, but overall, I love this chapter.
And the way they do the map too, how it kind of blends into it's got a city cave system, and then you've got like roots and stuff that go up, not roots, but like the cave ceiling opens into the actual map of it. And it's just like,
same with the Shadowfell ones, built around like this
So
tree
good.
bark, and it's really cool.
Okay, chapter 2. What is it?
Chapter 2. These are the group patrons, which are fancy ways of saying like factions that
Essentially,
will give the players quests and attach them closer to the world. And you could maybe even start the campaign with everyone a part of one of these to make it more closeness. You're not like starting and everyone doesn't know each other, and it's a whole weird encounter. But with here, it gives you quests. They give you perks as you get higher up the lines, which WotC has had these faction-based stuff before, but they've never really been done quite well.
Yeah.
Then they have NPCs that are inside these factions that you can get to know them. They can help you out with stuff. They can give you knowledge and give you the art is fantastic. And I believe there's one other thing. No, that's about it. Yeah, they give you quests and options and then things to pursue from there, and some henchmen and type stuff, which we'll get into later. But I really like, and there's a lot of these patrons in here.
There's very many. So from my perspective, my first thought was this is one of the best implementations that has helped me understand how to make an open world faction, like in a video game. Like this stuff is out there and the player can entirely avoid it. And yes, it can feel like wasted effort, but the way this is kind of agnostically written to be in a world and sit there unless your players decide to go is amazing. It was so much fun reading, like you can get monster layer maps from one of your contacts, Watson, from the Adventurers Guild. Like how cool is that? And you have to get basically renowned with him or level up in a certain way and, pay some gold. But it just felt like a really refreshing look at a less railroaded format of adventuring to me. Like this would work well in a Saltmarsh kind of format thing, I feel. Is that what it's called?
Ghost of Saltmarsh, yeah.
Yeah, where you have like a big old campaign, people just jump in. Or what is that called?
Oh, you're talking about Westmarch.
Westmarch, thank you.
Yes.
Margin, it's whatever. But I just love the structuring of this. And it, again, just like the previous chapter, gave me a great way or one option of how to organize an organization or a group patron.
Yes.
Just really, really great. And the character art.
Yes.
Oh boy.
It makes me feel like I understand these factions better than like when I first got into D&D and I was like, hey, I love vampires. I love dark gothic stuff. I'm going to buy Curse of Strahd. And then in Curse of Strahd, they're talking about the Harpers. They're talking about these different factions that exist within the Sword Coast. And I was like, I don't know what these things are. And they describe them a little bit, of course, in there, but I was like, I still don't know what this means. So then I got the DM's guide, and there they describe the factions a little bit more in detail. But even still, I didn't like them. So I've never included any of those factions in any form in any of my game. But now reading this, I'm like, yeah, some of these are pretty cool. Like the Harpers are in here. We got the Emerald Enclave. We got some really cool ones that I think they really, again, because obviously they make video games, they probably had this lore in the back of their mind.
Yeah.
They just had to regurgitate it. And I think they presented it in a way that's digestible and easy to understand and also interesting, which is very important for D&D players who have very short attention spans.
Yeah. I do want to highlight the Knights of Bahamut because just the idea of implementing like pet dragon eggs that you have to breed, not breed, but like get them and nurture them so that they hatch and stuff. Like it's such a personal, cute thing. And the lore behind each of them it's a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I don't know if I've ever found a chapter more useful for NPC and interesting stat blocks than this. Though
you can also
I
meet
haven't read
Minsc
many
and
books.
Boo.
Yeah. Minsc and Boo is in there at that point.
Yeah, even top of I like the stat blocks aren't just... That's pretty art.
My God.
The stat blocks aren't just like taking existing stat blocks that exist. They're making them fit the NPC to a point that WotC's never really done.
No, these are some of the best, and they're high level too. These are some amazing NPCs.
Yeah, they're pretty high up in the faction.
Yeah, it ranges from like CR 15 to CR 22 and above. If you want some really great big bad evil guys or friends, you got some good ones here. Or you can just turn the pages to, chapter 3 and campaign villains, which is probably the star of the show here. Oh my God.
You're looking at Bodhi. Is that Bodhi?
I think it's Bodhi. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Pair of, she's not a lich. No, she's one of them. Yeah, Bodhi Irenicus. That's her.
That's this guy.
Really?
Yeah.
John Irenicus. No, that's John. Yeah, see? John.
Right. Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
I read it wrong.
Always right. They do. That's one thing. The way the pictures are structured, I'm sure it would make more sense if it was in a book. They would probably be on the same page, but in PDF, it's like
maybe we'll have to steal Kenneth's book to look at.
Yeah, the art is so goddamn good. So, some of the most interesting high-level monsters I've ever seen in my entire life, or people more so.
Yeah, because we're not at the monsters yet.
The thing about these people and monsters and everything, and these villains, I would say, is
yes,
I guess jumping straight to the stat blocks right away. That's
Well,
the most important thing to me.
the reason why it's called the campaign villains, the reason why they're so powerful is because this is intended to be the big bad evil guy of your campaign.
Yes.
The things are supposed to build up to this point,
One
and
that
then
opposes your faction.
Beelzebub reaches into this world, which, my God, look at that.
And the lore behind him, too. The fact that he's that way for X amount of time for how many lies he told to a devil. It's like, damn, that
It's the Lord of
sucks.
the
But
Flies.
he's fucking rolling with it.
Yes.
He doesn't give a gosh darn poop. Well, he does give lots of poop, actually. But besides the filth that comes from Beelzebub and his, I guess, swarm of lies.
The stat block.
The stat block.
Which, keep in mind, we just covered CR30 monsters from Fizzband. How does this stack up?
I want to highlight the thing that I put. One of my first things is, how's that for a slam attack, Ryan? And which one was I referring to?
Probably Beelzebub. He's got a slam right here.
Yeah, and I went, oh, wait a minute, what is this going to be? And I went,
Yeah, I saw slam,
shit.
and I was like, checking
ready
out.
to like rip this up. And
But no, it's a very good slam attack.
oh my God.
It's not just slam plus 17 deals 14 damage. It's
Yeah.
slam plus 17 and does all these other things.
These are going to be a much harder fight at the respective level than
Yes.
the dragons that we saw in Fizzbands. And what I want to say is, undeniably, it is an intimidating stat block to look at. There's a lot of text there.
There is.
But it's not too hard to read through them, because if you read their lore, it talks about many of these attacks in them, and you kind of can conceptualize what this creature does and really get in their head. So intrinsically, you kind of become the stat block.
I mean, for a creature of this magnitude, it better have a damn sick ass stat block. And it does. I mean, if you look at Strahd's the only WotC creature that I think has a really cool stat block, and even that's still not done correctly. There's some third-party ones that make amazing Strahds.
Yeah.
But I love this. I love the old Beelzebub here. Then we got Ball. I love Ball.
Oh, God.
Oh, that art.
It is so cool. And Ball kind of goes through two forms as well. There's this like predator form where he's hunting and killing people, and also savage disengage.
Yeah.
Okay. I just can't opportunity attack. No, you. He opportunity attacks you when he disengages. Why? Because he's savage and he's got blade arms. He's ballin' is what he is.
He is balling.
And then he turns into a bigger dude, and is followed up immediately by a tentacle-armed ice ape with horns, and it's just, I don't know what's going on here.
As cool as he is.
He's kind of lame.
No, what'd you say? He's kind of lame?
Yeah.
Nah.
Ball.
That one, oh.
Not Ball.
You're
Talk about the tentacle dude.
You're talking about Cryonax?
Yeah. He's all right.
Cyrenax, I guess maybe it's supposed to be
doesn't
how you
tickle my
pronounce
fancy.
it. I don't know. I think it's really cool. I like the tentacle freeze it's got going on. I mean, look at that thing. It's like the Demogorgon, but cooler.
And, if that's not what your Mephistopheles looks like,
Oh my God,
you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, Mephistopheles looks sick in here.
Like, my God.
You should play Baldur's Gate. Mephistopheles is in that game.
I don't know how I could. I'm terrible with playing older games, dude, but won't deny it. So, before we gaggle on about how much we love them too much, do you want to go over just how they format it? Because I, again, think that's the biggest draw of this book. Because
Yeah.
it's not just the villains.
Now, to be fair, WotC's done a pretty good job with. This is not too different than the way they do it.
Yeah.
They have a whole like lore section, and then they go into the lair actions, the regional effects, and then some really cool art. Thank you. And then this big ass stat block takes up the entire page.
Essentially, yeah.
Which I like. I don't like that to save page count, that they shoved it down or they make it smaller. And they have like a little quote from Volo chat about it. And it's not like, to me, it's all unique layer actions, all unique kind of regional effects. This is the type of stuff that I would definitely steal and use as like a big bad evil guy. I would still probably tweak it a tad, just because I like adding my own things. Because I do think the action-oriented monsters are better for like a big bad monster, because it makes it scary. They can do actions.
One of the
on my
silliest things that I saw in this is that one of them has a legendary action to cast cantrips.
That happens a lot.
Or that might have
You'd
been
be
one of the
surprised.
henchmen, actually. I think it's one of the henchmen. But I was like, what? But hey, they can do it. It's an extra thing. So my favorite one.
Yeah, what's your favorite? Not Mephistopheles?
So I do love him.
But Pazuzu?
Pazuzu. Because
Like
he's a polearm. He flies around. He's on the first layer of the abyss. But the one that is just Bloodborne incarnate.
Oh, so it's neither of them.
No, it's neither of them. You know what it is. Come on,
Do I?
No, yeah. Bloodborne incarnate. It's a wolf boy. It's a wolf wear.
From these guys?
Isn't he in this one?
You must be talking about the
Monsters,
henchmen.
actually. Fuck that, dude. The henchmen are the star of the show here.
Okay, which one's your favorite villain here? So we got Cyrenac, probably Mephistopheles, then I would think.
He just looks so badass. I did love Ball's stat block the most.
I do like Ball stat block and Mephistopheles Ball and the first one.
Mine's being a weird boy, but we'll find it.
The first one being we literally just chat Beelzebub. I love Beelzebub.
Yes.
The artwork of Beelzebub is my favorite.
Yeah, no, Beelzebub's lore and everything. It probably Beelzebub.
Artwork. Oh my god.
It is very nasty. Maybe
I would
we'll
get
make
that on
our
my
thumbnail.
wall.
I don't know. We'll just hang around him.
YouTube
We'll
might
see.
not like us.
YouTube probably won't like us. It's a great section with some great big bad evil guys. Stat blocks worthy of being that final fight.
Yeah, I'd almost say it's worth $15 just for these. I know I've paid this much and more for a book of really cool monsters. Like there's the Tome of Titans book that I've gotten that I recommend a lot. Similar creatures to this, big, awesome, crazy monsters that you'd fight at the end of your campaign, or as like an epilogue.
Yeah.
And I've paid at least that or more for just that. So.
Okay. So I need to acknowledge my Freudian slips here.
Okay.
But the henchmen
Yes.
almost pack as much punch. Well, they literally don't, statistic-wise.
Yes.
But in terms of their impact and how fucking cool they are, hell
It
yeah.
even says so. A lot of these henchmen are meant to be henchmen for the big bad evil guys that from the chapter we just read. So the first one is for Mephistopheles.
She's all right.
Well, I'm just saying so they build them around the
Yeah.
villains they just had.
Yeah, so it's pretty similar. I mean, you've
In a
got
way.
their lore and then you've got their stat block. It's a little more straightforward here, kind of why they are, who they are, how they can do, and how they came about, I suppose.
They even say they could be allies, or these could just be boss monsters, or they could just be henchmen related to a boss monster.
I could see
Very cool.
Dagger and the Lost being, really cool.
I think Dagger's that's the Steer Dragon guy.
Oh my God. I love the mechanic of his fight. And I think we've already given you like the summary of what this chapter is. Let's just go ahead and get into which ones we really enjoy.
Yeah, Dagger's really cool because you kill him and then he turns into a big ass scary dragon.
Not only that, but you have a DPS check. You can probably kill him outright because for one turn, he's a medium-sized dragon that is stunned.
Yes.
The next turn, he's a large dragon still stunned. So if you go absolutely bonkers, and I mean bonkers because he's an adult black dragon, lots of shit, and this is a challenge.
There's only stunned for one.
Yeah.
So he's no longer stunned in a second, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So the second time, so once he transforms, he's stunned, and then on his next turn, he grows bigger and is no longer stunned. So prepare yourself.
CR4 is Dagrin. What CR is in an
low.
adult black dragon?
That's a good question. It's a lot higher. I'm going to tell you that right
It's
now.
a lot higher, and I just
Adult
think it's
black,
so cool.
right?
Yes. So
14.
let me see, 14.
Yeah.
So
really, it's like a CR20 kind of monster.
the way I would assume is his hit points start immediately as a black dragon when he begins his first stage transformation, and then you can start wailing on him, or you can get the fuck out of there because that's actually what that's for.
I would say if I'm fighting this little stupid ass dwarf that's crippled with age and afflictions, if I'm fighting this guy and he starts to kill him, like fuck yeah, you high fiving everybody, and then starts like transforming to this big ass scary like Animorph style of dragon, I'm getting the hell out of there.
Yes, absolutely. And I think I did talk about Daring the Ice Witch, who follows him up a little bit, and mentioned that some people might actually be a little uncomfortable with her because she typically sees things and might have a strong affection for them. And it can be a bit of a weird subject matter. She's really cool nonetheless, but she's basically catfishing people and
yes, she is parasitic in nature. It's
parasitic in nature and gets obsessed with things and romantically possibly so. So I mean, it's a bit weird, but I still think she's cool.
Then we got Edwin. Is that the guy you're talking about, Bloodborne style? No.
Sorry, that's in the monsters, not the henchman.
Oh, so entirely different.
Entirely different thing. He is my favorite.
That guy's
Hands
sick. That's
down.
That's Perilous.
Pelios.
Pelios Avhosti.
Pelios?
I know I pronounced that wrong.
Pelios.
But he's super cool. He's a pirate. A sky captain. Sorry, not pirate. I apologize.
No, the great thing is his intro, his text reads much like what will happen to you actually. So it's like, he's a cool pirate dude. He gives people passage when they need to go places. Yeah, he's really artistic and loves stuff like that. You're having a good time. You don't like that band that he really likes to listen to? Murder party time.
Yeah, he serves Baal.
Yeah,
The god of
balling.
murder.
So basically, he has nights and trips of just pure torture, murder, and death if he finds people in particular that don't appreciate art in the way that he does. I don't know. I
didn't say this earlier, but remind me as you're speaking about Baal. Because I've known about Baal for a long time. I'm a big fan. Love his work. as the god of murder.
Yes.
But I'd never seen a depiction of him. I'm sure if I had looked, I would have found, but I'd never seen what Ball looks like. And
Well, if
seeing
you know
those
Molag
images,
Bal from Skyrim, it's the same horned creature. Kind of creepy dude, likes murder and death.
seeing that picture from the last chapter made me realize how cool Ball really is.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's pretty much the ones that I enjoyed
Great
a lot.
chapter.
Great, amazing chapter. I did actually really like Xar, the Chaos clone. He's pretty cool. But I'm going to say the monster is my favorite chapter.
Yeah, so now we're in the final chapter, which
5, count 'em.
we've gone 130 pages. We already haven't been in love with this
It's
book.
a quick read.
And the last 20 is monsters.
So the first one up top, I thought was so cute. It's an abyss spider with eyes everywhere.
That's cute. That's terrifying.
You know, Jamie would think it's cute.
Maybe.
So the reason I think it's cute is there's this superstition in theater. There's a ton of superstitions. Don't walk under those ladders. Don't do X. Don't do Y.
Sure.
Don't kill a ladybug in the stage. These guys are similar. There's a weird superstition in the Underdark, I believe, that if you kill these guys, it's just taboo. You don't do it. Though the
because Drow love spiders.
yeah, the Drow though they do capture them and use them as like hunters and shit. But they're like Underdark ladybugs in a way. And I just thought that was so cute.
They're scared.
And their name's
terrifying.
Bebelith. You're not gonna be scared when a Bebelith comes to fight you.
No, that's the other guy.
No, is it?
That's Akari. You're thinking about Akari.
Okay. Akai.
Bebeleth, I would be scared because it's a creeper of an abyss that looks like something out of Doom.
Well, it's actually all those things.
Yeah, it looks like it came out of Doom.
Yeah, and the reason I love them is one of my favorite representations or presentations of monsters is, bang, you got a full encounter. Here's 3 right now that work really well together. Get in there. So good. But you might not be in hell every day to fight these guys. So
Yeah, I love the lore on these creatures. I love that these, again, they're not just standard WotC fare of the couple actions do this or that. They have a little bit of extra stuff in every single one.
yeah,
They're also all fairly chunky.
they're fairly chunky. Some of them. This is where I got a little sad because I feel like there's a pretty decent amount of representation for monsters from like CR6 to CR15. That's where monsters can get like the most varied. Not that the ones that are already offered in 5e are amazing per se, but this is already pretty stacked like within the bell curve of monsters. It makes sense. You got the low levels here, and you've got the middle when you get up into the center, and there's obviously going to be a lot of monsters here, so that's where most people play. And then you get to the higher CR, that's when they kind of wean off in the amount
That's what the campaign villains were for.
Yeah, so they've
They
bolstered
got it covered, man.
everything. I do love... I got a little disappointed with the Dread Doppelganger because it's still basically just a doppelganger.
Yeah, I can agree. I like the art of it, though.
Can I say the most brutal monster, though?
Sure, tell me about it.
So it's the challenge. It's the CR 1/4. The Gibberling. Do you want to know why?
Why? Tell me.
So they have this ability called Reckless. Okay. So at the start of its turn, the Gibberling can gain advantage on all melee attack weapon rolls during that turn. But you get advantage on the other turns to attack it after that.
Like a barbarian.
But they're not going to be in a fight right away. Do you want to know what they're going to do?
What are they going to do?
They're going to burrow underground before the fight to ambush everybody.
Sure.
So that they can use their swarm ability as a surprise attack.
Okay.
A full surprise attack
feeling
round
it.
of advantage where you get to have the target be grappled, escape DC 10. All Gibberlings within 5 feet of the target can use a reaction to make a dagger attack with advantage on the attack roll. So it's already within swarm. You just have them all pop out. Your friend gets jabbed and they're just dead. They're gone. At CR 1/4, you're be like, okay, I'm gonna throw these on my like really early level adventurers, and they're all dead immediately.
Yeah, if you play it well, you definitely could kill one. At least one. I'd say one guy would just get fucked up.
What's CR as a goblin? Like 1/6, 1/4?
No, they're 1/4 as well.
Yeah, put these guys up against that, and you're like, man, how do I make CR 1/4 monsters interesting? Here you go. Really freaking cool. And then you got the Hamadryad. I don't know, the basically corrupt dryads that wander around are so cool. One of my favorites actually is a monster that isn't even evil. Chaotic neutral is the Sirens.
Yeah.
They're really cool. The art is absolutely amazing. They chill. They're hanging out there. If you come up, they're like, we're not singing for you. We do have beautiful voices, but please just get out of here and don't touch my shit.
Yeah, they live along the Sword Coast.
One of my least favorite ones are the Favrim.
Is that the one you were talking about?
No. I do like them, though.
I the artwork of this one. The stat block I like.
I don't like the bite, though. You get bit by that thing? I want something else to happen.
you get sucked into it.
Yeah, what do you mean the bite's going to be just 2d8 plus 5?
Yeah, I feel like it should
It should be called meat grinder. You die instantly. Well, not really, but
yes, I really like these things. I want to make a group of these and have like little baby versions of them and like bigger versions of them, and it looks
sounds very familiar. There's some alien vibes here. They will stab you with their stinger, and you will be implanted with an egg. And if you don't get cure wounded, you're dead.
Which will probably happen.
Bam. Yeah. If you
it's better than the Slod version, which we should cover Slods on the podcast at some point.
At some point.
I love Slods.
Slods are interesting.
Slods are underutilized.
Well, there's a Slod.
Big bad guy. Yes, there is.
One of them, it's a transformative one. It kind of moves around and stuff. But the Farum in particular, I was just a little disappointed with the bite attack. But other than that, the lore about how they like had a battle with this race of things, these Netherese wizards. Oh, so the wizards in particular, it just makes them feel like less of a crazy abomination and more like almost a people.
Yeah.
But they just wish for death and destruction, and they would kill everybody if it weren't for the lack of people to torture. Great. Understandable. Skeleton Lord, pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. But my favorite is not the sword spider. No.
Which looks is cool though.
Is cool. It's not the Tesla. No. It's probably the one with the most average stat block, but look at it.
I see what you mean now.
The freaking Wolfware Alpha, dude. It's a little disappointing because this isn't its natural state. It does usually just look like a wolf, and it can transform into a person, so it can be an NPC.
Yeah.
But the picture of this thing, if you guys have ever looked, that it's basically like a cleric beast emaciated on all fours from Bloodborne, and it looks absolutely terrifying.
I agree with you. The artwork's fantastic. The stat block, only thing I like about it that makes it different than like a normal werewolf is the lethargic song.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Literally just Bloodborne.
True.
This is Bloodborne, like through and through.
True. It's interesting. Instead of silver, it's iron that this thing is
odd.
Not immune to.
But guess what? Other than the random art of a dude getting some arrows in his tiny shield, that is everything.
That is everything. That's a chunky, fast-paced book.
Yeah, so I essentially just said Chapter 5 offers a wealth of more terrifying and interesting monsters from like 4th CR to kind of 15.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good bolstering average of people that you can use in lots of locations. Might be hard to come across them, but when you do, goddamn, is it going to be
this is the DM treasure trove.
I even outside of just the actual content, I think this most important thing I learned from reading this is just how to structure monsters, cities, big bad evil guys, factions, and group patrons. If you're scared about writing homebrew, you might think that a book that is filled with things already wouldn't be the best resource for you. But when you look at the structure and the skeleton of it, it absolutely is. And even if you look at it wholesale for each thing that's in there, there's so many banging monsters in this, factions and shit that just gives you a lot of inspiration. And I think gives like a raving DM recommendation from me and even a player recommendation just for the inspiration.
Yeah, I'm going to say if you're a DM that's getting into Dungeons and Dragons, this would be, besides, I guess, like the Player's Handbook and
more of a necessity than
this would be the first book I would recommend for you to check out.
Hands down. I think it's one of my favorite things.
And then you'll be disappointed by everything else you read.
Unfortunately, yes.
I was going to check. I don't think they put it on D&D Beyond.
No, they haven't, which is unfortunate.
I don't think it will be because it's technically not done.
Yeah, that's going to be a pain. If I do pick up a non-standard subclass, it's going to be a big pain in the booty to get into.
You do like using D&D Beyond.
I do love using. I'll figure it out in one way or another.
But they have the Sword Coast Adventures Guide. Yeah. Actually, do they have... No, I was going to see if they had. So they have ball in here, but not as a stat block. I was going to see if they could compare the two.
Okay. You and your absolutely ridiculous amount of tabs.
Hey, man. A lot of that stuff, I use that when we're playing D&D.
But your poor RAM, my good sir.
Hey, this has like 48 gigabytes of RAM. No, it's not true. Let me check. I'm curious.
That'd be a lot, actually. Probably got like 4 to 8. Somewhere in there. But anyways.
It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, because I bought this PC specifically so I could edit videos on the go, which I ended up never doing.
Were you going to, wait, what?
Because I almost was a film major and I made films in high school.
Was it that long ago when we bought that?
I've had this one for a long time.
Well, no, you bought that after I had bought that one Surface and didn't want it. And you were like, I kind of liked it. And you got that version.
Did
remember
I?
That day? Remember, I flew down here.
I don't remember this at all.
What the? It was in 2020.
I don't remember.
What the
Time
hell?
flies, man.
He doesn't even care about us anymore. He doesn't even know that today's the anniversary of Skyrim.
It is. Well, we're recording this, which is 11/11/11. Well, 21, but 11 is when it
It's
came
been
out.
10 years. So,
It's the only video game release I think actually, like, I've remembered because of the day they chose. 11/11/11.
yeah, it feels like I've remembered the anniversary probably exactly 10 times.
Probably doesn't help that they released the game like a billion times since then, so it's still
They
fresh
did
in
it
our
again.
memories.
Do I recommend you get Skyrim Anniversary Edition for the paid mods? No. Do I recommend you get Minsc and Boo?
Yes.
Yes.
Honestly, it's cheaper.
It is cheaper.
If you already own Skyrim and want to upgrade, it's $20. If you want to buy this, $15.
Go for it.
Better use of your money. Promise.
It is permanently going to be one of the things I recommend to people the most.
Yeah.
Like this made me think D&D is a great format to play in
Yeah.
because of this book.
Well, it reminds me of the format of the Pathfinder books and why I like the content that they put into those adventure modules and stuff. Like the reading through an adventure module in Pathfinder is like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. I want to take that. Reading through an adventure module in D&D is like, that's pretty generic, but sure. Cool, I guess.
If we can find more ways to write things digestible like this, and it's the word of the day, I'll be really excited. If anything can come out officially from WotC, if anybody from WotC is for some reason watching this, take a look at it. Would love to see you guys take a stab at something more structured. I know WotC uses a lot of freelancers and maybe their organization with how they format stuff. Even my cat agrees. Maybe their organization isn't the best, but I'm looking forward to it. So, if you didn't know, we have social media. My cat here would like to tell you about it.
Yeah.
We are on YouTube right now, by the way. If you're listening on Spotify, get over there. Dungeon Crawl Podcast on YouTube. So we have social media at Dungeon Crawl Pod on Instagram and on Twitter. We do interact a little bit more lately, but still, the TTRPG Twitterverse and Instagram space, still a little reclusive. Would love to hang out with you. Add us. Do you make content and stuff on Twitter? Hit me up, slide into our DMs. Outside of that, we do have an email if you feel like talking to us there. That is thedungeoncrawlpod@gmail.com for business inquiries and the other things that are more official or not. Maybe you just like corresponding that way. If you want to be the exact opposite of that, jump on our Discord. It's in the link tree in the description below. We have several campaigns that go on all the time. There's a Zelda one that's going on for 5e. There's a Call of Cthulhu that we're doing that we're going to be finishing up hopefully soon. There's a Pathfinder game that's getting restarted that I was in before but can't do anymore. Is there more?
Not right now.
No,
But
we just did a one shot that one of our good friends who is in our home game now just ran it. It was another one of the best experiences I've had doing D&D. It was actually a one shot. Finished it in one.
That's impressive.
It is actually impressive, I would like to say. Outside of that, again, we do have a Patreon. We've got some lovely supporters here that will likely be scrolling across the screen. So thank you guys so much for helping us in that regard. If you do want
us,
to,
especially in our weird hiatus as we fix everything and get everything ready to go for the new year, baby.
Absolutely.
New year, new me.
Yeah. So if you feel like supporting us over there, that's a really great way to do it. If you notice, we did buy lighting and whatnot. I just recently figured out how to make it look good. 3-point lighting. Now you can see the fruits of our labor and your labor if you support us. But that's all my stuff.
I do want to point out, I didn't realize how many good things James Ohlen has been a part of. Ready for this? Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Sure. Baldur's Gate 2. Sure.
Yeah.
Mass Effect. Neverwinter Nights. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Holy shit.
Dragon Age Origins.
What the fuck?
Star Wars The Old Republic. Jade Empire. And unfortunately, Anthem. Rest in peace.
I mean, there was some cool stuff in there, but yeah.
Right. He wasn't a lead designer on that game, though. But Mike, he's been on so many cool things.
It shows. Definitely shows.
Yes, yeah. A very skilled writer.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to close us out with. I don't know if you knew this, Braxton.
I know everything.
Okay. Well, listeners, I don't know if you knew this, but I actually used to have a hamster back in the day.
Yeah. Did you name it Boo?
No, I did not know of Minsc and Boo at the time, unfortunately. If I had, I probably would have. Or actually, I might have named it, what's his cousin? What do they say his cousin's name is here?
I have no idea.
Right here. Goo. Sorry, Goo. Which you can get Goo in this book.
Okay.
But if I had known about Minsc and Boo, you're right, I probably would have named it Boo. And it might have been apt because the hamster itself, that's what's called a hamster, right? The hamster itself talked to me. It spoke. It used its little hamster, little squeaks. And at first, I didn't really understand that. I was just squeaking. But as I leveled up, I got to at least like level 5. I was able to cast, comprehend languages.
Okay.
And I was able to understand that he was trying to help me. He was informing me of my future endeavors, that I would come here with a good friend of mine, make a podcast called The Dungeon Crawl, and I would rate it 5 stars on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. And he told me, what he said to me? That your viewers will as well. So I implore you, listener, head to Apple Podcasts, rate us 5 stars, leave a nice, happy review, and say, Goo sent me.
I was going to say, how many times are you going to have visions and experiences of things telling you to leave 5-star reviews? And yet, have you?
I have left a 5-star. I did not leave a review, so I thought that might be pandering to myself. But I know I'm 5 stars, so I wrote myself a 5. At least hit the 5-star button.
Yeah. I want to say now, we got through, she's about to do it. We got through an entire episode without my cats meowing or making a noise.
Yeah, they've been chilling.
They've been chilling. That's because we reorganize and move stuff around. So, as always, he's been Ryan. He's been Braxton.
Next week, we're trying something a little new. We're going to do some big, heavy topic like this. We talk about what?
Are we? What are we talking about?
We just talked about this.
Did we?
Minsc and Boo. You don't remember talking about Minsc and Boo? Are you okay?
No, I remember talking about Minsc and Boo.
Yeah. So
what topic we do next week?
Remember, we're going to do a big one and then a small one, a big one and then a small one.
All right.
So we're going to have like a really big one like this, and obviously we'll have to tweak it a little bit if it's off for whenever a new book drops, which Strixhaven's coming out in like 2 weeks.
It's getting there.
Actually, I'm not.
It's in December.
Just closed my laptop. I thought it was in November.
I don't know. We're in November. We're halfway through November.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Or it's next week. Jesus Christ. I don't know. Let me double check. This actually might throw off my whole plan. If it's not next week, then we'll be doing a little more what's it called?
Budget friendly?
Budget friendly, not really. Bite-size friendly.
Bite-size, there you go.
Where we have a little smaller discussion, and I think it'll help us to, maybe we can do 2 smaller discussions back to back, just so we can have, there's some topics we wanted to talk about that just aren't good for a whole full-length episode.
Yeah.
So this might help for that purpose.
Absolutely.
Curriculum of Chaos.
I'm actually kind of excited for it.
I think it did get pushed back, didn't it? December 7th?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So December 7th.
Is it worth $34.99? That's hardcover.
Well, that's on Amazon. If you go to your local game store, because Amazon buys in bulk and they have the cost to cut it down. If you buy it at your local game store, it's $50. So that's why we always say, if you have the money, go support your local LGS, because Amazon is trying to drive them out of business.
Yes, they are.
December 7th. So it's not next week. It's not the week after that. Not the week after that. It's 2 weeks.
We got some time.
Sorry, 4 weeks. Sorry. Yeah, which actually fits in perfect.
So you're saying big topic next week?
No, small topic next week.
Okay, so that's why I was freaking out. I thought you wanted to do another big
small
topic.
And then big. Look at that. That fits out perfectly.
So perfect. And then hopefully the book that comes out after that fits, the schedule.
Hopefully.
My cat's about to
And
go
the one
on my
after
desk.
that will be Monsters of the Multiverse.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited for.
All right. I'm going to go get my cat off my very expensive, well, not really, it's like $40, but my Evangelion desk pad. We will see you next time, as this has been the Dungeon Crawl. Well, welcome. Thank you.
Oh, Jesus.
For calling with us and hanging around until she made a noise.
Oh, no.
See you next time.
Take care.